90.7 WTCC FM. My name is D.MOss. This is Rob Jones.
Good evening.
Um,
Good evening.
all right, man. Great interview with Janae McDonald, who's running for state representative in the 11th Hampton District against current state rep Bud Williams. So yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's
Yeah,
tomorrow's a big day. She was hitting on a lot of key points. Um, we'll see what happens. But something tells me if it doesn't go in her favor, that she's not going away,
yeah. Well,
based on what you were
been
saying.
around for a minute, so let's see what happens. Can they hear me on that? Yeah. um,
Static.
it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be interesting. So we'll see what happens. It's not my district. I'm in Jay Oliveira, I think his name is. He's currently running for state senate. So that would probably leave a state rep seat open in my district. So we'll see what happens.
Mm.
Um,
But before we go on, you know, let's talk about poetry undressed.
oh
You
man,
got you got that.
poetry and dress is coming. Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what? I
let's.
normally don't even talk about like
Yeah,
the events that
I,
I have
I
on
saw
the air.
that and I got excited because I don't have to. I can come to that. I don't have to worry about my smoke jacket, worry about my
Yo,
lungs.
listen, man. I think that's been the dopest response. People are like, okay, so I love the other venue, but the smoke. And I'm like, yeah, man, we good.
Yeah, yeah.
We good.
Number one, I don't like supporting you, or I don't like you.
I know. I know.
But because there's no smoke,
You just come
I'm
and
just
collect
gonna
all the
come.
money for me. That's all.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. So who do you have on deck?
We got my man Josh Son out of New Haven,
Oh
Connecticut.
yeah,
He's back with all brand new material. We got
that
some of
dude's
my
dope.
local favorites. My man D Woods, Deshaun Woods, D Woods. He's
Okay,
dope.
okay.
My little bruh. Sheldon Alexander
Oh
is gonna be
yeah,
in the
yeah.
house. Malay, MBS Malay will be
Okay,
doing a full set, which is gonna be dope. And we're waiting on two surprise performances. Reached out to some folks, one out of Jersey
mm-hmm.
and one out of Philly. So we're waiting to see what happens. I won't announce it until they confirm. And then we have a live band,
Yeah.
Mulatto, is gonna be
Oh, those
doing their
guys are
thing.
dope.
So it's gonna be dope, man. We got the beer and wine permit, so I can't talk about that on the air, but there will be a you know uh
Some imbibing.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
a lot of vibes. There's gonna be a full food menu. We have someone coming along, a girl Antoinette will be doing the vegan menu.
Oh,
So there would be a vegan option for the folks who don't partake in the chicken and all that other stuff.
yo, there's more and more black people have been turned to to the whole
Yo,
vegan lifestyle.
listen,
Because a huge percentage of us, diabetes, high blood pressure,
yeah,
obesity in the black community, and that vegan
it's preventative,
is
man.
it prevents all that.
Yeah, it helps. Man, listen, it's there's healing in your food, bro.
And our melanin
Yeah,
is really attuned to certain types of
right.
food, to
And we have to feed that though,
alkaline.
and we have to feed that, and we don't do that, enough. We all this generic chemical based stuff, and it's like, yo, it doesn't help the melanin. It's a superpower, but like Superman, you don't get that sunlight. I don't know what to tell you.
And you ingesting kryptonite on a day-to-day basis, and that
Absolutely,
reminds me of the DVD Urban Kryptonite. If you haven't seen that, that gets into melanated people and their diets, and it's a great documentary.
absolutely.
It's a great documentary, and you won't find it, on the History Channel or anything like that, because this is geared specifically towards the black community.
Absolutely.
But I got to
So
give a shout out
go
before you
for it.
start for Sheldon, when he has consistently shown up, and George too, to all of your events. I mean, he was at the Indie Soul Festival, which was a rousing success. I mean, it was hot.
Did you say that word hot one more time?
It was very the temperature was high.
Yo,
The
I
temperature was
think
high, but
I
it was
think
a
the
sunny
devil was
day.
I think the devil was hanging in the audience somewhere because it was a different type of heat this year,
Yeah,
man.
it was a sunny day, and the acts were phenomenal. I got to give a huge, huge, huge shout out to the vendors. I mean,
Yeah, we
is
had
it KC Cakes or whatever? I
yeah,
was sneaking away from my wife, going and grabbing those cakes left and right, because she said, "Don't eat that stuff. You know you can't be eating that because you get sugar."
yeah. I bought T-shirts, candles. Yo, I even did the shout out to Tatiana Rivera. I even did the tarot cards for the first time in my life.
What?
Yeah, I
It
did,
said
man.
you're
I was
going to
just like,
hell.
yo, it's nah, man.
I could have
It
told
was
you that.
it was pretty. Actually, it was pretty dope, man. Pretty insightful. And she'll be coming on as a guest at some point. I can't wait to bring her on because, you hear about that stuff, and it's like you see all the, the scary, the horror flicks, or people doing tarot cards, and gypsy ladies, not.
Yo, do you
But
remember
she was
that?
dope with it, man. It was accurate.
Remember that? To this day, I won't buy a Ouija board. Remember that horror
Yeah, I
show on the
remember that.
Ouija
Yeah, I
boards?
would never. I don't, man. They'd be
Man,
like, yo,
listen.
you can get your entries on the Ouija board. You can get out my house. I'll see you
Yeah,
later and never come back.
like nope, nope.
Yeah.
That's yeah, but the vendors were dope. The acts were
We had
really
over
dope.
70 venues, man, which is really, really, really dope.
Wow.
So it was dope, man.
And
we got surprised for people. I ain't gonna say who we got coming,
oh.
but for all the people who have not been coming, I'm gonna say please continue to not come.
Yes, we don't
That
need
sounds
you.
that sounds kind of wild to say that though, huh?
Yeah.
But for the folks who have been coming, we thank you for your support. We love your support. It's like a huge. Somebody said online. I think Narelle said it. And shout out to Narelle and the whole team that helped to make this thing happen. Yourself, your wife, key components of the Indie Soul Festival. We never shout you out, but I gotta shout you out.
Nah, I just hold the money, man. That's all.
Yeah, that's probably the most important piece, man.
Yeah.
You used to have plumbing problems with the money.
Hey, that's the only reason why I came on board, and I'm not even on board. I just come for that day, and then I bounce. But listen, but
definitely a shout out to everybody who came. For the folks who have been coming, if you're having a good time, I'm telling you, next year you don't want to miss. I don't know the way this world is going. We're blessed if we're lucky to see August of 2023. We're gonna have a heck of a show. The artists will wait for response from the artist management. When we make the announcement, I think it's really gonna take us to another level in terms of talent. We're getting back to it.
oh, I just got a text from my wife saying, "Oh, I don't get a shout out for the money. I was the one."
I did. I said
no. I didn't. I mean, you did, but but I didn't shout out.
Friend, I
shout out to Marilyn Sanchez Jones for getting the money and getting donations.
That's my sis. She's
making sure everybody paid that came through.
We just got a shout from the man himself as we talked politics earlier. Yo, huge shout out to one of the dopest elected officials to ever wear that moniker. My brother, my brother, Adam Gomez. What's up, bro? I hope you home resting, man. It's 10 o'clock. You should be in bed, big bro. I'm saying that's my dude. Shout out to Senator Adam Gomez, man, and State Rep Orlando Ramos. Adam did something really dope a couple of weeks ago, man.
What was that?
He posted everybody, every piece, every resolution, every piece of legislation, every earmark. He posted like all his stuff on. I've never seen that type of transparency, man. In all my 50-something years of living, to have somebody like, yo, this is what I did. Love it or leave it. Yeah. Yo, I was just like,
that is a stock. Real. That is a stock departure from what typical politicians usually do. You usually have to Google to see what they're doing, and they're usually doing things on the low. But when you talk about, when Janae McDonald was talking about transparency, that means everything.
This dude, transparent, and I love everything about it. And the beautiful thing is, I knew from day one when he ran for city council, he wasn't your average politician. I don't even know if I can call Adam a politician. He's one of them dope dudes from the block who knows exactly what needs to get done. He goes to get it done. So kudos out to my man Adam Gomez, y'all. For everybody out there in Radio Land, please continue to support this brother. He's a good brother. He's my brother. Make sure you continue to support him, man, because he's really getting work done, not just for what he's done for the Springfield Indie Soul Festival, but culturally speaking, he's been looking out for almost every demographic in the city to make sure that culture is at the forefront in the helm. Because we all know that culture, no matter who you are, where you live, culture is the glue that holds communities together.
Holds everything together.
He's the one politician that definitely gets that, and that's key.
Yeah,
that's key. So you got some stuff you wanted to chop up.
Yeah, but before, on another note, I wanted to Barings Companies, a financial firm in North Carolina, is looking for an individual with some IT credentials, specifically C#, MS, SQL, SSIS, SSRS. Don't ask me what that stuff means. The new normal now is telecommuting. So when I say North Carolina, Doesn't mean you need to go up and move in North Carolina, but these types of positions tend to have high salaries associated with it on the
Right.
IT side. Brian could be reached at 413-276-5642. Again, this is Barings. It's a financial firm in North Carolina. They're looking for people with the following skill set: C Sharp, MSSQL, SSIS, SSRS. These are
I,
called languages.
I know what they
Yeah. But for those who don't, disregard it. But if you have some of these skills, or if you're working on some of these skills,
mean.
please call Brian at 413-276-5642. So
Yeah,
um
that's critical, man.
yeah.
We need to do that on a regular basis. Any job openings, man, let people know. Funding that may be available for people to start their own businesses, positions that may be available in the corporate world, or even entry level positions that folks may be interested in. I think that's going to be cool.
Yeah. And the IT it's always a growing industry.
Yeah.
In those jobs, I remember when I was working at United Healthcare, and we were doing healthcare benefits. I was an financial underwriter for that company, doing healthcare benefits
Hmm.
for just all kinds of companies. But the IT people, the thing that stuck out was their age. A lot of them were in their early 20s.
Yep.
And back then they were, you know, making the salaries were like 70, 80, 90,000. So imagine being a 22-year-old coming right out of college making 80,
Yeah.
$90,000.
My son just picked up an IT position. He happy as heck.
Yeah, shoot. My
I can.
first job out of college was working for Aetna, and I think that was like
Yeah,
$26,000. Can you imagine?
I think he's up there, so I can actually go to him for gas money now. Pull up like, yo, we switch cars with you, man.
Yeah. So black folks, look at those IT jobs because there's not a lot of black people in the industry, and the person who sent that job posting is a black executive in the IT industry. So he's looking to get some more black folks in that industry, and
Okay.
I think, and this is just my opinion, but gone are the days where you can go to college and I want to be a history major. You need to focus on something that's going to generate some income as soon as you get out of school.
I think the thing that is back when we were, leaving high school and heading towards college, man, just for the young people out there, if you happen to be listening, just find something you love. Sometimes it's not even about the money. We've been going to college trying to chase that dollar bill for as long as I can remember. But money ain't gonna buy us happiness. Find something that you really, really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
I've worked jobs that I feel was a waste of my life. It has nothing to do with my life mission. But the money was cool and the benefits was cool. But the headaches, the stress, the duress you're under the whole time because you're not entirely happy. Find something that can afford you the opportunity to pay your mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Say rent. Pay your mortgage,
Mm.
pay your light bill, your gas bill, whatever the case may be. Get you a nice little piece of car. You don't need nothing fancy, just a car. Get you some dope gear and just live your life and enjoy each and every day like it's your last day. I think that's the most important thing you can do going into college if you decide to go to college. So that's just my 5 cents.
No, and I agree with that. And to add another 7/8 cent to that, um, trade school.
Yeah,
You
trade.
know, great.
Listen, I wish I had done that.
Yeah, I kind of wish I was
Man,
went
I'm
to
not that
become
bad
an
with my
electrical.
hands. I probably could have cleaned up with some carpentry or electrical work or something. What? Take my own hours, get out there. And, man, I see electricians, they move all slow. They get this stuff done. The plumber, shout out to my
They
man
do move
Wise who did the
slow.
plumbing here at the Artist Cafe. Did a heck of a job. But they move at their own pace. And I'm like, yo, I want to live at my own pace. I'm doing it now. But damn, I'm
You,
like, I'm
you know,
almost at 100.
when the rose-colored glasses are off and you start noticing more things. One of the things I notice because I travel a lot with my job is I'm driving through these like suburban communities with these 3-car garages, and they look like they got 5 bedrooms and 4,000 plus square feet.
Right.
One of the things I noticed a lot in the driveways, and oh, he's gonna say Mercedes or Lexuses or whatever. No, pickup
Yo,
trucks,
I'm
and
getting me one.
vans with
I'm getting me
with
a pickup.
logos of the companies.
Yep.
So somebody who's owning that house has a business, and they're a plumber, or they're an electrician, or they're a general contractor, or they're an artisan contractor, or they're an HVAC, plumbing and heating. And I was like, dang, you driving through these neighborhoods and you expect to see, Benzes and all this other
Yeah.
stuff, and you see pickups and vans with their business logos on the side. So that's one thing to consider. And I agree with what you're saying. But you got to make that money because if you go the college route, student loans are very, very
Yeah.
expensive, and you can't write them off in bankruptcy.
You never pay them off anyway.
Oh, well, I had a scholarship, so
Hey, everybody's not 6'6". I'm just saying.
okay.
Hey, also keep an eye out for Kwanzaa is coming up for all the vendors, um, people who may want to hit the stage, share some information. We're gonna do something different this year. We may do an open mic, like 5 minutes. Share a piece of positive information for the community, bring in a number of people instead of one huge keynote. But again, we're just exploring. So Kwanzaa is coming up. Summer's over. We have Thanksgiving, but I don't really get geared up about that no more. But I think Kwanzaa, we're really trying to hype that up.
Yep.
So we look for dance schools to get involved. So if you're interested, hit me up. If you're a singer, a dancer, whatever the case may be, dance school, hit me up. We are definitely going to do it. No changes this year. We are definitely going to do it at the Boys and Girls Club Family Center. Shout out to Keyshawn Dodds for always opening his doors and making things happen. Hey, what's up, Brenda Gaines? How you doing, love? Waterbury in the house, digging it. I'm digging it. So yeah, shout out to Keyshawn Dodds and Boys and Girls Club Family Center for always opening them doors. Oh, Young Scholars Academy, man. What's going
Yeah.
on this year? We're about to kick it off.
We are about to kick it off. We're about to do a significant recruitment drive.
Yep.
And if you've got children in elementary school, preschool,
Middle
middle
school.
school, high school, and and maybe one of your kids are in college and they're home for a break,
Send them.
send them,
We'll be at
send
the
them.
Boys and Girls Club Family Center, beginning the second, third Saturday. What date is it?
I don't think we locked that down yet. And I saw you have the calendar up.
Yeah, I do.
So I don't know if we locked that down yet, but we are bringing it back.
We'll be looking at the 17th of
Okay.
September. The Young Scholars Academy will resume. The primary focus is reading and literacy. Wait a minute. Why did I say reading? Literacy is a key component. We'll be doing field trips this year. We have a number of field trips coming up.
Yep.
Some tutoring, conversations about just socio-political type issues, making sure that our kids are in tune to what's happening, and all the variables that will currently impact their lives and will forever impact their lives. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about culture, an awful lot. Everything we do will be entrenched in culture. So it's coming.
In an Afrocentric environment. So all the curriculum is Afrocentric based, and you hit the nail on the head with the literacy and the culture. We get a Eurocentric. Our kids get a Eurocentric education Monday through Friday, and then let's not include all the television programs they write. The Young Scholars is focused primarily on Afrocentric curriculum, but we're hitting all those elements that he just mentioned because it's important for our kids to know and
Right.
be taught by people who know and who are unbiased and who love we love our culture.
Yeah, that's all.
We love our culture. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Shout out to my man Dave Maynard, artist. We are currently broadcasting from the Artist Cafe, 1365 Main Street. Hey, if you're a performer and you're looking to perform, man, we have a stage for you. There will be auditions next Thursday evening. Um, we do everything but rap. Sorry, rappers, my bad. But singers, poets, authors, whatever. If you're interested, come down and let's have that conversation. Let's see when we can get you on that stage. Cool. And it's a very diverse environment, so it's not Afrocentric. So you can be black, white, blue, brown, purple. As long as you can sing, we good. As long as you can play an instrument, we good. We want to make it as diverse as possible down here at the Artist Cafe and make it that spot to go for a nice glass of wine, a cup of coffee, great conversation, good meal, and some dope entertainment. That's what's up.
Speaking about dope entertainment, I know people have been pushing you to bring the the I can't remember the name of it, but when you had that dude come up that was doing Tina Marie
Oh,
song,
Legends and Divas.
yeah, Legends and Divas. I know a lot
Bringing
of
it back.
people,
Yeah.
bringing it back. That was that, and the one that was well attended,
Yep.
and the talent was phenomenal.
Okay.
I know people
It
have been
was.
bothering you like,
It was
let's
dope.
get that back. Let's get
I
that
just had a
back.
conversation with my man Big Tom Bolden about that. He, they're interested. He was one of the participants, one of the singers when we did tribute to Teddy Pendergrass. Yeah.
Nice.
And Peeping in the Windows, my man for Spirit Life Entertainment, new label. Based out of Florida. I think the Spirit Life label, Experience Entertainment. You can, I don't even know where they're based out of. It's Springfield, Atlanta, Tampa. They got artists from all over the country. And the crazy part is, man, they had about 6 of their artists converge on the Springfield Indie Soul Festival from as far away as Atlanta, Hawaii, you name it. They came in, no charge. I mean, the label had a bill. We had to get them up here. But they came no charge and tore it up, man. So
They did.
I just want to say, my man K Sam, I just want to say thank you, man. Spirit Life was in the house. Y'all helped us pull off an incredible feat. So that's dope.
He looks like he just got done painting or something. But
Looked like he carried his van here instead of his van carrying him here. He looked
tired,
boy.
But hey, what do I know?
That's that Spirit Life.
He's from. I'm fitting. Where's that? Is that Southern vernacular?
Man, that's Delta. That's like that Delta. I'm fixing to go up yonder.
Is that Gully Geechee? What is that?
I'm fixing to go.
Fitting to go.
Play with me. I'm fixing to go.
Is that some Missy Elliott? Yeah, I'm fitting.
All right, folks. Yo, you got some biscuits in your back pocket, bro?
Hey man, you got some gumbo, some grits with some molasses.
Yo, man, hooked me up the dope meal one time, man.
Who?
He can cook. He cooked them country meals.
So ham hocks with some
all up in the meal. You know, I ain't had pork since Southern Connecticut, boy. He had pork in there. He said, "Oh, don't eat that. There's pork in it." All right, well, can I eat? Don't eat that either. There's pork in that. As
long as you close your eyes and you don't see it, it's all good.
We were ready to eat. The kids are like, "Oh, Daddy, can I have some?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give you some." I said, "Wait a minute. That's what he said." He said, "Yeah, I'm on the phone. So are there pork in the greens?" He said, "Yeah." I hear his wife in the background. Don't let him eat the mac and cheese. There's pork in the mac and cheese. I was like, whoa.
Yo, but did they have raisins in the potato salad though?
No, it was apples. He had apples in the potato salad.
My wife put apples in her.
He said cook a relish? Pick a relish.
I like to put pick a relish and eggs.
Oh,
pick a relish. Pick a relish. Yeah, you gotta have eggs, but I don't know how to do a pick a relish, man. Nah, man, I ain't messing with no pick a relish in my potato salad, bro.
No, but I can't remember what comedian said you can't eat everyone's potato
put
salad.
Pickles, yeah, they do put little dice, what is it? Pickle relish. Pickles. I don't know about pickle relish though. Oh, relish, just relish. Relish, yeah,
that's
relish
Southern stuff.
He said pickle relish, man.
Pickle relish. Yo, you got grinders and you got
the pickle.
subs.
The pickle relish threw me off.
I got 2 big jars of pickles.
See, I know what pickles are. I know what relish is. I never heard it.
It's like that electric company. Shh. Oh, shut up.
Hey, this is 90.7 WTCC FM, broadcasting via remote from the campus of Springfield Technical Community College. We are currently broadcasting from the Artist Cafe, located at 1365 Main Street in beautiful downtown Springfield. We're not officially open. The Artist Cafe will be open to the public as of September 22nd.
Come on down. It's going to be a dope vibe.
It's going to be live, man. It's going to be, yeah. All right, bro.
All right, man.
Spirit Life.
Finish painting that room.
Spirit Life.
Finish painting that room.
So, if you want tickets for Poetry Undressed, you can come down to the Artist Cafe. We down here. We work out of here every day in preparation for the grand opening. So you can get the tickets to the Poetry Undressed here. Or you can go right to just type in Poetry Undressed on your Facebook search bar. Hit the event. You can get your tickets right online. I like to do everything online. Like that whole cashless society works for me.
Let me tell you something. I haven't carried cash in years.
I hear the ATM coming down to make sure George get his Uber money right. But
haven't
I don't
had
carry cash, man. It's like
years. It's Cash App.
like people
I
like
was
well,
using
cash. I'm like,
Venmo, and then what's up? PayPal.
oh man, PayPal,
I
Cash
use
App,
Cash App most.
yeah, I do most of PayPal now. Cash App, PayPal for events, Cash App. If you're like, yo, let me get $20, hold on, I'm gonna post your Cash App.
I don't have Cash App. Then you don't get $20.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You better get Venmo. I don't like Venmo though. I don't know why. Cash App just seems easier.
You know what? To be honest with you, I deleted all because most people have Cash App, and also in Facebook Messenger, you can pay people through that way too.
Yep.
I've done that.
Yeah.
So, but I don't like having my account out to so many different places.
Yeah, the cash just streamline it, man. Everything is with the Cash App.
So,
So I'm gonna pop off. Let you do your thing.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I'm literally gonna pop off. Let him do his thing.
So, I've been getting a lot of inboxes and messages from folks who watch Insight, and they've been hearing because the political cycle is in the mix and it's so rampant, and the coverage is just so ubiquitous. They've been asking me, Rob, I hear, right wing this, the right wing's the conservative, left wing this, the liberals, what is right wing, what is left wing? So I have a diagram. I don't know if you can see it that well. Let me try to move it closer without this thing falling. So, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to go over it. You have the left right here, and then you have the right here. So typically, when someone says left wing, and that's my awful art, with the wing, left wing typically signifies a Democrat and also a liberal, while right wing signifies conservative and also Republican. Now, the next bullets are my opinions right here. So, for those who are intellectually challenged, subterfuge. Let me read the Webster's definition of subterfuge because it's important with respect to what we're talking about today. Subterfuge, and I had it right. Here we go. Subterfuge is deceit used in order to achieve one's goal. Deceit used in order to achieve one's goal. And then below that is shill. Okay, so a shill is an accomplice of a hawker, gambler, or swindler who acts as an enthusiastic customer to entice or encourage others. An accomplice of a hawker, gambler, or swindler who acts as an enthusiastic customer to entice or encourage others. So you have subterfuge. Subterfuge can't happen without the shill. So the deceit can't happen without the agent pushing forward the deceit. And there's a reason why I have that on the left. I'm going to get to that in a second. On the right, I have praising. So whether you're overly assimilated or a mascot, in other words, you know when someone doesn't like you, period. That's why black folks who lived up north and south, or lived down south, moved up north, they'll tell you that if they had a preference, they'd be down south. And a lot more black folks are moving down south from the north. And one of the reasons is that they know Karen doesn't like them, and Ken doesn't like them. Karen and Ken make no bones that they ain't down with you and they don't like you. Whereas up north, Karen and Ken will act like they like you, but that's the subterfuge. They really don't like you. So when you're thinking you've got someone who likes you, but behind your back, they're sabotaging every move you make. So the Republicans, they're not interested in anything that really concerns the black community. You can look at some black Republicans, Tim Scott, and there's some videos of him on YouTube, and it's really embarrassing. Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General for Kentucky, who was trying to subvert evidence and well, look up Daniel Cameron and come to your own conclusion. Again, everything I'm saying, look up, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. So the Republicans are brazen. They don't care about anything affecting the black community or nothing. They just want to stay in power, and that's it. The Democrats are the ones that use the subterfuge, and they have shills doing the work for them. The problem with the shills is that a lot of them look like us. So they'll put, and they've already vetted, but they'll put people to push their agendas that look like us because black people won't do anything against black people. Oh no, they won't do that. Yes, they will. That's the subterfuge part. And that's why several shows ago, I said, the Democratic Party, you just need to X them out. It's a two-party system in this country. The old saying, divide and conquer. Without the black vote, the Democratic Party will not survive, period. That's why they're letting all these people and all these immigrants in. You got all these sanctuary cities, and some cities are allowing illegal immigrants to vote. But what's interesting is a lot of these immigrants that come in tend to vote Republican. So it's kind of like biting them in the butt. But they want those numbers to come in because a lot of those illegal immigrants are anti-black. So whether they vote for Democrat or Republican, at the end of the day, they're still anti-black. So that's why they keep letting them in. The Republicans don't want them in anyways. The Republicans don't want any of them in. So that's why they're fighting to keep them out. The Democrats need to bolster their numbers, so they're letting them in. And that's why my contention is let the Democratic Party die. Black folks don't, come out and vote for the local elections, but, just be nonpartisan about it. If it's a Democrat and they're talking exactly what you're looking for, okay. If it's a Republican talking exactly what you're looking for, okay. Or don't vote or do a protest vote. If you're a Democrat, do a protest vote for a Republican. But let the Democratic Party die. That's a whole other conversation. So the ideologies, you have liberal, and their ideology is basically supporting individual rights, civil, human freedom of speech, politics, and religion. And then you might have heard the term progressive. Progressive is social or political movement representing ordinary citizens through government and political change. And then conservative, focused on traditional social values rooted in family and religion, limited government, free market, rule of law. And then you have the moderate, known as the centrist, seeking middle ground between liberal and conservative, a more balanced outlook. Now, these ideologies can fall up and down the scale. Just because you're a liberal, even though liberals tend to be left and Democrat, you could be, over here on the spectrum, closer to right. Same thing, progressives might tend to be more right to left, but you can go up and down the spectrum either way. This is something just to educate you in terms of the word soup that's always out there when it comes to politics. Oh, the left is doing this, and you'll hear that a lot when you're watching the news outlets, whether it's CNN, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, Fox News. I mean, they're all owned by a lot of the same conglomerates. Because the one thing about white supremacy is they play both sides of the coin. They're just not one or the other. They play both sides. A great movie that kind of illustrate the political shenanigans is Eddie Murphy, The Distinguished Gentleman. It's old. You can probably get it on Amazon. I have it in my shop list. I think it's like $4.99. And of course, it's a comedy, but he's a hustler. But he figures out the biggest hustle because he's hustling all these small time gigs, these small time jobs. And he figures out the biggest hustle is politics. And he goes and he runs for Congress and he gets in. And, either if he's voting yes for something, there's something that benefits him, or if he votes no on the same topic, there's still something that benefits him. playing both sides. But if you haven't seen the Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy in it, you got to go check it out. But don't get caught up in the word soup. Oh, he's right, or she's right, or he is a conservative, or she's a liberal. Don't get caught up in that. Left wing and right wing, you see this line right here, they're connected. Just different ideologies, but they're still connected. A bird can't fly with one wing. So while they have stock ideologies and they're on opposite sides of the spectrum, they're still connected. So I hope this was clear for folks who was asking me, and there was quite a few folks asking me about what's the difference between a conservative and a liberal. What's the difference between the left and the right? This is it. And then here are the ideologies that make up the left and right. So one of the things I wanted to get into, and I'm going to get into it for the next show that I've been working on. And I've been working on, the topic is hazardous to black health. And there's different segments to this. I don't know if you can see it. I'm looking at the camera and it looks hazy. But the different segments to this is people of color, feminism, environment, Roe versus Wade, Ukraine, black and brown, immigration, symbolism. And then I have some actors and some of the things I want to talk about. Carolyn Bryant Donham, and then Joseph S. Okay? Economic violence, which is something that we've been dealing with in this country since we've been brought here. Economic violence, including but not limited to redlining, housing, credit, policy, code enforcement, gentrification, highways and lakes, Black Wall Street, nuisance abatement ordinances, banking, and that's Wells Fargo, and that's not Boa as in Boa Constrictor, that's Bank of America. Eminent domain, food, Uncle Sam, government policy, and underneath Uncle Sam, I got Elon Musk, climate and healthcare bill, black farmers, medical, that should be medical, not medically, environment, and environmental, I put Flint, Michigan, Jackson, Mississippi, Cancer Alley in Louisiana, and the 6th district in South Carolina. So what's interesting, I'm just going to touch upon two of these briefly. What's interesting with the environment, Flint, Michigan, and Jackson, Mississippi, they're both the capitals of each state. So when you think of the capital, that's where you have a lot of the governing bodies for the state are housed there. The governor's there, et cetera, et cetera. Jackson, Mississippi, and Flint, Michigan are predominantly black. So the white towns surrounding and the outskirts of these towns don't have these water issues. And I was joking with a friend. It's like, you know what? Here's a possible solution. Keep moving into the white neighborhoods. Even though they'll probably try to move out, but just keep following them. Just move out. Just move with them. Because this stuff right here is unconscionable. No reason for this. So every level of government, from the governor, congressmen, congresswomen, reps, city councils, aldermen, every level of state government has failed these towns. Every level. And and also the federal government. Flint, Michigan, that happened like all through Obama's term, Jackson, Mississippi, Biden's term. And don't get me wrong, there was probably some other things happening during Trump's term. But the thing is, this goes to show you that black towns are just expendable. They are. Because name me a white town or an Asian town that has had these water problems. Look up Cancer Alley in Louisiana, a black community built next to a petrochemical plant. Really? And there's so many other black towns and communities around the country built next to chemical plants, built on the site of dumps, old dumps, landfills, built next to meat packing. There's chemical waste that come from meat packing plants, built on a lot of environmentally unsound manufacturing sites. A lot of the black communities are dumped either on top of them or adjacent to them. And then you wonder why all black people are predisposed to asthma and higher rates of cancer, et cetera, et cetera. Find out where they live, and you'll see. So that's what you have right there. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, this will be the last thing I talk about tonight, black farmers. The American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, Section 105, which is part of an act that Biden signed as an executive order. He's stripping the piece that's supposed to give debt relief to black farmers. He promised he was going to do this, and now he's stripping it. Okay. However, and here's a slap in the face, and continual slaps in the face. He's committed $250 million to Ukrainian farmers. $250 million to Ukrainian farmers. But he's stripping out the debt relief to his American Rescue Plan Act, Section 1005. Look it up, folks. Don't trust what I'm saying. Look up, verify, validate what I'm saying. Get in the habit of doing this stuff. So when you hear something and it don't sound right, or something sounds a little off, look it up. Do your own research so you can get the facts. Don't believe me. Look it up. So you've got no money for black farmers to help them with their debt relief, but you've got $250 million to give to Ukrainian farmers? Like, everybody's getting something except the black community. Let me focus back on black farmers. Well, before that, so far, the U.S. has given upwards of $50 billion. $50 billion to Ukraine in aid so far. So there was an article written in September 28, 2021, research compiled from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And it said it would cost $20 billion to end homelessness in the U.S. That's what HUD came up with. Some other organizations say upwards to 30, 40, 50 billion. But let's stick with the HUD numbers. To end homelessness in the United States of America would be roughly about $20 billion. We've given up to $50 billion in aid to Ukraine thus far. We spent over $1 trillion during the Afghan war. 20 billion to end homelessness. And as I was doing some more research, 13% of the homeless are vets. If you fought for this country, you signed up, because there hasn't been a draft since the Vietnam War, you signed up to serve your country. There's no reason you should be homeless. The United States of America should be serving you and making sure you're straight. Blacks are the highest rates of homelessness at over 40%. Latinos, about 22%. Blacks have the highest rate of homelessness in this country. But you've got $50 billion in aid to give a foreign country. And I'm going to talk about pan-Europeanism on another show. But that's a prime example of pan-Europeanism. What's that? Think pan-Africanism. There's pan-Europeanism. I'm going to get into that on another show. back to the black farmers. Market Watch article dated 7/5, July 5th, 2022 said black farmers lost 326 billion in land over eight decades. So you're talking about 1920 to 1997. $326 billion in land they lost over 8 decades. And that's a conservative estimate. That's a conservative estimate. So it was probably, you know, north of 500 billion, north of half a trillion. Black farm ownership rose after the Civil War. In 1910, black farmers owned 16 million acres, and they were attributed to about 14% of all farmers and producers. By 2017, the latest census of agriculture, they went from 16 million acres to 4.7 million acres, and that's less than 2% of all farmers. But you're stripping the Section 1005, giving debt relief to black farmers. Oh, well, maybe it's, maybe black people don't want to farm. Okay. So some of the main culprits of the astonishing exponential decrease in black farmers was perpetrated by local USDA. They foreclosed on properties a lot quicker. They moved a lot faster to foreclose on black farmers' properties. They denied them loans. It was USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, so the federal government. They were given innumerable obstacles. We talk about the opera front here in Springfield, where all of a sudden you have to go through this process that Springfield wrote to make obstacles, to make it more arduous, to make it more difficult. This is what the USDA was doing to the black farmers, making them obstacles on getting the loans. Oh, and let's not forget a lot of black farmers being murdered because the white farmer wanted their land, or being intimidated off their land. If they could be intimidated, they were murdered. When you talk about racial wealth gap, when you just look at this microcosm of just farmers only, you're talking about $500 billion. Just farmers only, not every other aspect of black community. John Boyd, look this guy up. Google him. John Boyd's the leader of the National Black Farmers Association. He has a lot to say. And you'll be able to find all kinds of articles and videos with him on it. Look him up. Don't believe me. Do the research. Look up John Boyd. MSNBC Cross Connection had this article, the USDA Pandemic Food Assistance Program. It was, the government put $9.2 billion, set aside $9.2 billion for the nation's farmers. White farmers got 6.7 billion of that 9.2 billion. Black farmers, 15 million. Latino farmers, 100 million. Native American farmers, 76 million. And Asian farmers, 17.6 million. We got the least amount. When we were enslaved in this country and brought over here against our will, and then the Emancipation Proclamation, and then we were given our freedom, we were the second largest demographic in this country. At one point, we were the first largest demographic in this country when we were enslaved. But then we were the second largest. We definitely didn't get anything while we were enslaved. We didn't get anything when we got our freedom at number 2 demographic. Now we're the third largest demographic, and we're still not getting anything. And everybody's just leapfrogging over us. Literally. No, everybody has leapfrogged over us. We got the least amount, $15 million. Another obstacle with this debt relief, the white farmers that get the lion's share of all debt relief in this country were pissed that there was money set aside and allocated for black farmers for debt relief. So they filed a number of lawsuits with the government to hold that up. They filed these lawsuits with the government saying, "Oh, this is racism," to hold up that debt relief. Now I don't know if there was collusion to hold it up because they knew that President Biden was just going to like not follow through with it or not. But let's say that they didn't know that. They held that up. During the pandemic, the state of Oregon, which when they were founded, I think 1844, don't ask me why I know this. I may be wrong with the actual date. They had in their state constitution that they didn't want any blacks um, moving to the state, settling in their state. So that was in their um, state constitution. During the pandemic, Oregon got $14 billion in relief from the government to help businesses and just to help the state out. 14 billion. So Oregon decided to set aside 62 million and have that $62 million targeted for black businesses. So out of the 14 billion, black businesses in the state of Oregon was allocated 14.5%, 4.5% of the overall pandemic budget. Just 4.5%. Well, once that news broke, Asian and Latino business owners and leaders, community leaders, raised heck about that. That's divisive. Why are black businesses being targeted? They shouldn't be targeted. So, what ended up happening is a lot of that money got held up. I don't know how much, if any of that budgeted money trickled down to black businesses, but it was held up because Asian community leaders and business owners, as well as Latino community leaders and business owners, caused a real stink. Meanwhile, there were funds allocated out of that 14 billion to Latino immigrants and Asian businesses. We didn't raise a stink on that. But it goes to show you, and I mention that because it correlates when we get something or when it's time for the black community to get something, everybody else has a stink about it. Everybody else has a problem or issue about it. That's why we need to be on code. And everybody else has to hold their own water. The black community as a whole, black Americans or foundational black Americans, our GDP, what we spend, and we spend that 95% on at or in non-black owned businesses. So the money that comes into us, we give it out to non-blacks. Is a top 13 GDP out of 200 some odd nations in this country. In 1920, there were 950,000 black farmers. In 2017, there were only 35,000. And that number keeps shrinking. And it's going to shrink more, especially with Biden not or repealing Section 1005 of the American Rescue Plan Act to distribute debt relief to black farmers. Dr. Hammer Clark said it succinctly, we have no friends. And we got to stop with these coalitions. And I'm going to get into all the stuff that I mentioned here. I'm going to get into in more detail. In more detail. People of color, black people should not be saying people of color. That does not mean us. That means everybody else, but not us. And black politicians and black people keep saying people of color, but people of color don't say anything about black folks. There is no black and brown coalition. Nancy Pelosi got ambushed at a DreamAx um, conference in San Francisco, and those people were screaming about DACA and the Dreamers and everything like that. None of them said brown and black. None of them say brown and black. Do a survey, do some research, and find out how many Latinos say brown and black. Find out how many Asians say Asian and black. Nobody says that. I mean, if you find something, that's an anomaly. But when you juxtapose that with how many black people say black and brown, it's everywhere you turn around. Get off that. And I'm going to get to that. Education and politics, I left blank because we got a mouthful here and here. And we'll get to that. So with that said, I want to say good night. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please. I like the feedback. I like the input. Keep writing to the show. If there's any topics you want to hear or you like to hear, let me know. And some of the discussions we had today is because of your feedback, what you wanted to hear, what you wanted to learn more about. Peace.
People keep waiting for something to come down from the sky to solve their problems, make them smile, take them from low to high.